Namaskaram. I'm with Shashikant Oak. He's a living legend on Nadi astrology. He's been studying Nadi astrology for more than 4 decades, and he's also written several books on Nadi. And I have the pleasure of having him here live with me, so I'll record the session. And this will be casual. It's just a conversation Q&A. So, pranam Shashikanti, and thank you so much. So I wanted to just begin our discussion with, the basis of this. So I am writing a book on Nadi astrology, and one of my objectives is to dive deeper into the Nadi subject. And there is nobody better in India than Shashikant Okji to ask these questions. I have already read his book. So these questions are actually above and beyond his book. So if anybody is watching this recording, I would recommend them to first read his book and then, to get all that information, and then this video would make more sense. So, anything you would like to state up front, or should we start with the first question?
I don't have to say now for the time being. As and when
Okay.
we start talking about it, I'll have to some tidbits. I'll let you know certain things about me also. And thanks for saying good things about me. I have limitations. Number one, I do not know Tamil language. I do not have any basic knowledge of astrology either. So, with these two things, I have ventured into this particular realm of Nadi predictions without knowing actually where am I going to begin with. Yet, after a certain period, I was told by Mercies themselves that you don't bother about what you don't have. You keep on doing the work what is coming in front of you, and that is how I went ahead, and that is how I am now after about say 30 years plus. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. So, so the first question I had put down, and this is another question that was also from Reverend Bill, is I'm curious, apart from these individual predictions that we've had,
Hmm.
ha now let me just clarify this question. Are there Nadis on history, global predictions, science, other nations, and other subjects that are in India, or they were in India and they were taken away by the British or burnt or whatever? But if they are in India, have you seen them, or have these been read, or what else? Any information on these other nadis?
Number one, regarding the history of a particular nation or a piece of land. Number two, global predictions. These two issues, I feel that the Maharshis have not taken in their hands, because that is a separate altogether a chapter. And because you and me think that what America stands now, north, south, USA, Canada, and whatnot, these are the geographical boundaries of a particular period. Mercies do not bother about it. And in one of the readings, they have said that we do not want to create that type of a situation because of our readings, that there will be some sort of a friction or some sort of uneasiness between the pieces of those people, those who are residing into that place. Even for that matter, they have not called is this as a Bharat also. So they say this land where you are now. So
Hmm.
this is what I feel, that they have avoided giving predictions about a piece of land, or for that matter nations, states, or whatever be the case. And therefore the history of or rather global predictions they have avoided, which other way around Nostradamus had ventured to do. And
Mm-hmm.
Nostradamus had to run away from one country to other to avoid getting killed because of the predictions what he had made for a particular king or a queen or for that particular piece of land. And probably that may be one of the reasons as to they do not want to go into this. When I'm
Okay.
saying this, in some cases, in some point of time, the indications are given that what is going to happen. Say, for example, there are two things which are in our heart, that what type of a menace this particular no, Pakistan, I'm with reference to India, I'm talking, is going to end, where it is going to end. And is it going to end in favor of India or something else? This particular answer, this was not an answer to a question, but in indirect reference, they said that this particular country will get destroyed by themselves. Don't Nobody is going to do anything for that. They themselves will create situation, and their the existence of that particular country may not be there after a certain period. When not, they have not said how that they have said, but this is only a passing reference. This is not an answer to some question. While in their own way of doing things, they have said. Even for that matter, in some other cases also, say for example, there was a question in one of the chapters saying, will Taj Mahal become the abode of Lord Shiva? The answer to that, they said, it's not going to happen that way. It will happen in a different way, but the situation will not change. The Taj Mahal will remain Taj Mahal only. Only thing, the people, those who this thing, people will come to know that the history of that particular thing, it was not originally meant as a mausoleum or the kabar of that particular lady. That much awareness will be there, but the very face and this thing that demolish that and create another temple and all, that's not going to happen, is the answer. So some
Okay.
glimpses are there regarding the science and technology. Mercy themselves have said that very soon we will discard this leaves, the palm leaves, and we will switch over to the modern techniques by which we will be able to speak to you. We will talk in our own language or language in which we feel that we will be talking, but you will listen to you in the language in which you understand. That's all. I think this much explanation is enough for this question.
Okay.
Am I clear? Because as I see, my thing is very hazy, my face.
Yeah, this is maybe, yeah, that's fine. I think it's the camera on the laptop. But
Okay.
so one of the things I just wanted to clarify, that I had read somewhere that these Nadi leaves, these palm leaves, which were on these different subjects like arts, science, they were taken by the British and taken away from India. Have you also heard something similar, that Nadis on different subjects were taken by the British to England?
I have a different take. The Britishers themselves did not have any intention of taking it uh, to England, or for that matter in London, and keep them into one of the museums or whatever that is thing. No, it is not. This whosoever has said has not actually understood the significance of this particular leaves vis-a-vis language. Say, for example, you are a Britisher who have got the authority to take away whatever you feel like, but will you like to take something which is very precious, or all these dry palm leaves, which nobody understands, other than the person those who are here in this place? And what is written there, if it is not known, nobody would even look at it. So I do not subscribe to the view that they were taken to England and they were taken for preservation or something, nothing. But in some cases, those who were doing the Indological study and those who were doing some sort of a reading, reading in the sense they were studying about the Indian philosophy and all. They understood certain importance, and some leaves, most probably pertaining to the Ayurveda, or for that matter, what is called sold in Siddha medicine, they were naturally taken there. That is an argument which can substantiate by itself. But other than that, this leaves which have got no significance to the Britishers, they will never bother to. Somebody sitting in some XYZ place have said this, but there is no, if at all they have been carried out from, taken away from Tamil Nadu to England, where are they then? They are not there.
Okay.
So I do not subscribe to this particular view.
Okay, got it. So the next thing is that, we've heard that there are many, many types of Nadi leaves, and we are wondering if you or anybody has documented or cataloged the list of Nadis.
Okay. Who told you that there are 200 plus?
This
From where
again,
did they get this number 200 plus? Means it can have
uh,
the 300 also.
yes, no, not a particular, that, I mean, just a random number that I pulled, that there can be
Exactly.
hundreds of
So,
them.
yes, that's correct. These are the speculations made by various persons, those who have got that intention of creating that type of bombastic claims, which has got nothing to do with the reality. Why 200 and why not 500? It's all nonsense. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, number one, there is no nothing called 200 or 100, whatever. This is a vague statement made by XYZ. Then the question comes, how many list of the Nadis which I have seen? See, I can stand say and say that I have seen this. I have visited. I have the particular Mercies reading was pertaining to me. Like that, when we were discussing in one of the places while doing this workshop on Nadi predictions, so I said, look, it's not me. It's all a congregation of all which is Nadi lovers. We should come together and say, yes, I have seen this particular Nadi. I have seen this is the name of that Nadi which was told to me, the Maharshi's name. So like that, we made a list of 45 persons, Maharshis. Though they have said that 72 Maharshis have written it, this is also a vague statement. Nowhere I have seen in any of the Nadis saying that we Maharshis, we are 72. They have not said. But when we had listed them, a person who was one of amongst us, he had made a list, but that list presently is not available with me.
Okay. And have any, because you have visited so many Nadi centers, and each of the readers say, I read Bogar and Agastya and so on and so on. So that includes all the Nadi readers saying, we read these, this list of Nadis, correct? So what I'm trying to say is that this 45 that you had come up with your friends and colleagues, this includes what the Nadi readers themselves have stated, that these are the Nadis that we read, because each Nadi reader that you must have visited must have told you that I read this Nadi.
Yes, they themselves have to say because they are the readers. Uh, I'll let you know another one is a very interesting instance. Here in Pune, there was a person called Pavel Krejci. He was from Czech Republic, and he was very keen to know about all this, the questions what you have been asking. So he said, I would like to know how many leaves you have got and how many Maharshi's leaves you are having. So me, early in the morning, we went to that Nadi center here in Pune. And then the person was in charge of this particular Nadi center, chief Nadi reader, Shiva Shanmugam was his name. These days his center has closed. He took out all the packets and he placed, and there is a shooting also of this particular event. And then he said, these are the packets. But he said, sorry, I cannot read them because the leaf pertaining to a person has got to be read only for him, not for others. So we said, yes, it's absolutely correct that we should honor the privacy of that particular person about whom the leaf is written. But then I had an idea. I said, look, I don't want to go to that details where from where his details this thing they start. In the beginning itself, I so and so Maharshi now saying with the prayer of Shiva that one or two stanzas wherein the name of that Maharshi is written and the prayer to this thing that you can read because it's a common thing. So he said, yes, I will do that. And then when he took out it, to his surprise, he said, I was also not aware. There are 9 Maharshis whose names had come in different packets. So
Okay.
it happens that way.
So basically, the bottom line is, to your knowledge, there are 45 different nadis,
No,
but
they are not 45. I have said we have experienced of various the names of 45 persons, me and my friends.
correct.
Not
In your
necessarily that they are only 45.
right, right. So in your personal experience, you have seen or experienced 45 different nadis.
Yes,
But but nobody really knows how many different types of nadis are there. It's never been documented, basically.
at least to my knowledge, I don't know.
Okay. All right, that's fine. And so what is the difference, there's so many of them. Is there any difference between these nadis, or why so many nadis?
Instead of asking difference, I would convert this question into what are the similarities of this Maharshi's Nadi predictions. I think that will be easier to understand and to explain. All the Maharshis have used the exactly same pattern while delivering the predictions. Be it Bohar, be it Agastya, Atri, Kaushik, or just name them. They have made a standardized format with which they will go ahead. What is that standardized format? It has got about 3 to 4 parts. Number one, prayer. Number two, the Maharshi himself will say, I am Agastya, is narrating this prediction for a particular person. Maindan is the name of in Tamil. Whatever small little thing I know of that. Three is the planetary position, and four is the names of that his himself as well as his relatives, spouse, whatnot. Fourth, fourth we can call it as a planetary position. Fifth, the year in which this particular person is seeing this. Sixth, any defect or deformation or particular what to call attribute of that particular person, which is highlighting his personality. And then they say, "Oh, in that 2 or 3 years together, we will narrate his lifespan. Generally, it stretches up to 75 plus minus. And then they say, ki further also he will live. But they will not tell exact date of his death in general chapter. So this is what is the standard pattern. So if you are asking me the dissimilarities, then it is not possible for me to explain, and we just don't know because this pattern is common to it. The question is to what the deep this particular person's predictions are given depends on that sukshma or ati sukshma. These are the various types of uh, the descriptions of particular kingdom for a particular person, not necessarily that everybody's predictions are given like that. Say, for example, in case of my sister, when her particular chapter was seen, then they said there is another chapter which is called Ati Sukshmanani. So she said, okay, I would like to read that. They said, no. that will come, that there is something is written about too in that Ati Sukshma Kandam. But that Kandam will come only when it has to come. And so it was after, say, many years, me and my sister, because she used to stay somewhere else, I used to go around from one place to another because of my nature of my work service. We met at some place and then we went together. At that time, she said, "Remember, my brother, the Maharshis have told me to find out the Ati Sukshma leaf for me. So can we try?" And we found it out. So this particular information is very peculiar to explain. So the
Okay.
difference, and what is the difference between one Nadi and another Nadi, it's not possible to explain for that matter, and nobody will. And the whole thing is that the whole thing is written in Tamil language, which at least I don't know.
Okay. So, for example, some of those common nadis, like you mentioned, Sukshma Nadi, Adi Sukshma Nadi, Ati
Hmm.
Sukshma, sorry, these are more details. Then there's Tulya Nadi, there's Agastya Nadi. Some
Correct.
of them are more brief, some of them are more detailed. That's pretty much the only difference. But the
Yes.
format that they follow is pretty much the same. Is that what you're saying,
Yes.
right? So supposing, like, for example, even in your book, you said, you had several readings and they were sometimes in short order, like maybe in 1 year, you had two readings. Now, was it ever, did these ever, differ? Like, say, for example, Brigu Nari is saying, yes, you will move places. And Agastya Rishi is saying, no, you won't move places. I mean, is there any times when
No, see, I will stand only for my experience. I will not talk or comment on somebody else's, because
yes,
that is somebody else's experience is entirely his,
right,
and that is his problem, rather
right.
experience. For me, there is no deviation, clash, or he's saying this and he's saying no, that is not going to happen. That type of the predictions were not for me.
Okay. All right. And did you find that one Nadi was more precise and accurate than another Nadi?
No, madam, this type of questions are too mundane. Who is going to decide that this is more detailed and it is not more detailed?
No, no,
See, the
accurate. Like,
requirement of an individual, hold on, requirement of an individual is the criterion for Maharshis to describe a particular situation. Somebody is not getting married, for him, the detailed information regarding him will be told in chapter number 7. In that chapter number 7, what will be told that that a particular person whose particular alphabets are something like that, this. So these are the details which are given in that particular chapter. So the question what you have been asking me, which is really detailed or not detailed, is all what to call the adjectives.
mhm. Right, I understand. But for example, like if you read the Brihunadi, and after 1 year, you can, if supposing it gave a prediction for the following year, and after 1 year, supposing that did not happen. So the
Okay.
what I'm saying is like, because in your book I had read, Bhrigu Nadi, some things were not accurate, something to that effect. So is that the difference also that you have found, that some of them were, generalized, or they were not, some things were not true or did not come accurate?
Number one. Now our topic is only restricted to palm leaf nadis and not Bhurgu Samhita. Okay. So this particular aspect I will leave aside. Whether it was told to me and it did not happen with, I don't remember now. If at all if I have written, you can give me the reference, then we can talk about it. As far as Nadi is concerned, whatever was told to me has happened in my own case most accurate. I stand and I vouch by my experience, my relief reading.
Oh,
What
okay.
happens to the others? I just don't know. I mean, I don't want to make any comment on that. Because it's the
Yes.
Mercies, those who decide, those who think that this particular aspect is to be told or not to be told. You might have read in this particular case, or rather in this reference, I would like to quote the Maharshis. There is a chapter on that, saying that Maharshis have misled that person uh, in that this thing, and they said, "Oh, you are wonderful." A friend of mine who was from Air Force said, "You will have a very nice life, and you will have promotions, this and that, and I will get married, will have children." That's all rosy picture was painted, and within 2 weeks of his marriage, which I attended, he died in a car accident. So the question came as to why the Maharshi told that particular instance deliberately wrong, deliberately. And
Mm.
many people, those who were in around me who knew, they started making, and there was a small write up in the newspaper also. Look, this Mr. Oak is propagating all this and that. Nothing had happened. His own friend, he died within 2 weeks, for which there was a very rosy picture was painted by Maharshi. This
Yes.
particular issue later on, it came in my mind. The Maharshis have once or twice they said, "You don't ask us every now and then what had happened. Automatically, you yourself will get this answer to that." So
Mm.
I said, "Why should I go and ask Maharshi why this and that?" And it occurred, or it happened to dawn on me that they said, "Look, we are not bothered about that particular friend of yours. We were more committed for smooth action of karmas, what he had created. And there is another affected party to that is his wife. Now, in her fate, she was to become widow. So if she has to become widow, this fellow has to die. But if we tell him that you will die within 15 days, he will not get married. So for happenings in a particular direction, we had to show him a rosy picture so that he will say yes to her marriage first and marry to that lady only, for which this particular he was destined. And that is what it is. So if the Maharshis have given a wrong, or rather a misleading information, with for the time being we feel that yes, Maharshis have gone wrong. They have not been able to uh, exactly know the situation, and therefore they have given a wrong prediction. That is our understanding. And Maharshi,
Yes.
they for that saying, if you feel like that, let it happen. This doesn't make any difference for us.
Yes.
That is what it
That's
is.
that's a very important point, Shashikanji, because see, I don't see Nadis as astrology as a prediction tool. Nadis are really for our benefit, right? Like you said, how will those karmas play out and what is most beneficial for us? They tell us what we need to hear. It's not simply like, telling you predictions accurately. So we will hear what we are supposed to hear. It's not meant to be accurate in that sense. Yes, I understand completely what you said. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so Nadis are in, we know that they are in Tamil, and
Hmm.
are there different scripts? Like basically, of course, we know there's Vales Vetu, I've forgotten the exact name, there's ancient script of Tamil. Now, is it over time? I'm wondering if there were different scripts, or is it all in that older script of Tamil?
And the answer to that is not known, and that will be given only by the expert Tamil Indologist person, those who are doing research work on this. I'm too a layman to say this will be there, this will be like this will be not like this. But in general, the recording of this leaves is done in Tamil language. Now that whether it is ancient or becoming Grantham to Pali or not Pali, Grantham to Brahmi, this and that, These are all for the language experts to understand, to study them. For that, we have made this data bank. Let them come, let them do this researchical work by themselves.
Okay. Okay, um, so this is one question I know I've already asked you, but I wanted to record it. So, in your book, you've mentioned in a chapter, how the process happened. The disciples went and got the leaves, and the rishis were
Okay.
speaking, and the students were writing. But then, of course, we have the Shiva Nadis, where Shiva is speaking and the rishis are recording it. So is it both that both Shiva is speaking and the Rishi is writing, Rishi is speaking and disciples recording it, or what are the ones that you have discovered is the process?
Madam, this is, I don't see I am fit person to make a comment on that. Number one, this is a in the leaf it is said that the conversation is between Shiva and Parvati, and I, Maha Shiva, is no, making a comment or rather making a gist of it and telling you. But to me, by making this sort of a dialogue or conversation, Mahashiva himself is writing. It is not that Mahashiva is sitting as a commentator somewhere in the outside and match in front of them, or Shiva and Parvati sitting on a dais and they're discussing about it and he is noting it down. No, it is not. It is only he has made that scene to appear, but written by him only. Like, for example, this Mahabharata, whatever dialogues Krishna has said in whatever that, or any for that matter, are written by Maharshi Vedvyas. We feel that he has said. Maharshi, who is the creator of this particular Mahabharata or various other scriptures, what he had, it is his understanding or it is he who has written it. It is not necessary, but we feel that this particular sentence was uttered by Krishna. Uttered or not uttered, that we don't know, but this is what the Vyasa has written it. All that 18 chapters of, are they? I mean, to me, it's very awkward and absurd to say that when the two fighting forces are standing in face to face, and is it the time for him to this thing? And I don't know. Please tell me what about the karma and bhakti? These are the issues on which one should be talking and having discussion. It is not. To me, this particular issue is rather ridiculous because I am from armed forces. We cannot have discussion like this at that time. But the Vyas Maharshi found it more convenient to put all this into that particular slot. And that is how he had done.
Mhm. So yes, I understand what you're saying, but you're saying that, like, for example, for the Shiva Sukshma Nadi, it is Shiva himself who also recorded it, not it wasn't like
Anyway,
Agastya.
if you have heard like this, I have got no comment. Shiva and Parvati, these are the what to call the we have depicted them as Shiva and Parvati. To me, there is have you ever seen anybody which is Shiva and which is Parvati? This is all our mental creation. This is all the artists, those who have made their faces. The Shiva is sitting on that abode of that Kailash. This is all imagination of our own artists, our own creators, this and that. And we have that, so over a period of time, maybe 100 years, 200, 500, we have also developed that type of. Just imagine that Ganesha, who is having the elephant fade, if somebody comes in front of you, will you accept it? No, but we have accepted. So it's to me these are symbols and not in reality. So Shiva and Parvati, these are the forces, or we will see who are giving them the inspiration. So he is imagining that Shiva is asking, saying answer, and why all the time the Parvati has to ask questions and give the Shiva has to answer. Why not other way around? What is so great? I mean, these are of course my own thought processes. You
Yes, yes.
probably may not like it, or you may not
No, no,
accept
no,
it.
no, no,
That's
no.
okay. That's perfectly okay.
It's not my like or dislike. I just want to understand and come to know what is, some more knowledge and information from you. So I
Okay.
don't have any preconceived ideas.
Perfectly okay.
So you're saying, if I understand it correctly, in your viewpoint, it is actually the rishis who have recorded it, and they have said Shiva is saying this, Parvati is saying this, as similar to when Ved Vyas said Bhagwan is Bhagwan Uvacha, but it is for that particular writing that they have used these characters, so to say Shiva is saying this to Parvati. Is
Yes.
my
I mean,
yes?
this is my viewpoint.
Yes, yes, understood, understood. I don't doubt it actually. I
Okay.
also can understand Ved Vyas did this in the Gita. So,
Done.
so one of the things is like the rishis were, I mean, obviously this was done in the Dwapar Yuga. Were these all verbal, or were they actually etched? Because in your book again, you said that the rishis is in the ashram and they're speaking. So these were actually etched on physical palm leaves in the Dwapar Yuga. Is that correct?
See, this is again a very vague statement. All this breaking of yugas and this and that is all have been written in our scriptures. Nobody had measured it, this thing, which is what and what is what. Anyway, we will leave this issue for the time being. Whatever that yuga or whatever we have thought of, they were they have been written from time immemorial. Now that 5,000 years and 6,000 years and then 5,130, then Mahabharata and Ramayana and the Dwapar Yuga ended and Kali Yuga started. All these are all the what to call um, sayings, or the those who are expert on this, they have said so. In this particular case, where when the Nadi was written, answer to that was given in one of my uh, discussions. So we
Mhm.
were sitting two, three persons, those who were interested in knowing. And see, generally it happens that Nadi reader will not open a packet or leaf just like that. Because he says, sorry, sir, it will be opened only for that person whose thumb impression is there. Otherwise, we will not open. I mean, that's it. And that they are right also. But in that particular Nadi center, and when we were two, three persons were sitting and discussing, then we said that we would like to know from you, I mean from the leaf, regarding that particular leaf which is you holding in your hand when it was written.
Mm.
So the answer to that, it said that there is a machine, which modern machine which calculates the mathematical. That is a what you call as a calculator.
Calculate.
So they said this particular machine is unfit to do that, because the calculation what we are going to tell you will not fit into those number of slots of your figures. And it did happen that way. I vaguely remember, because this when we were talking about, we were not very serious about that question and then the answer which had come. It was something like 5,000, some 100, 200, some again. It came in such a way that number of the moon, full moon day times.
Mm.
He said
Mm.
so many, calculate this into number of so many full moons, and this full moon should so much. And like that, the calculation kept on happening, and it had about three, four, five type of calculation. And roughly, I remember 5,000 plus 200, something like that. That calculation came when we were doing it by hand. We stopped doing this on calculator. But that person who had actually done it on his paper and pen, he is no more. And that's unfortunate part of it. But I vaguely remember it was 5,200 or plus minus like that.
Okay, okay. So it is about 5,200, something approximately like that, right?
Huh, at that time, that particular, we are now again
At
specific.
least
I asked if I am not talking about the very
all the
fact or that how the literature is thing. I am saying this is the leaf which is in your hand. I am talking about the specific one. The
Mhm.
answer came to that. Then
Okay,
the
got it.
next leaf may be 100 years earlier or 200 years later. That we don't know. Because I
Right,
was
right.
very precise while asking the question, because my friend said, you asked. So when I said the leaf which is in your hand, I'm talking about that only, not anything else.
Right.
I'm
Not
not
all of it.
talking about the historicity of this entire Nadi leaves and this and that. So
Right.
that's
And yes, yes,
so
got it.
the answer may will differ if somebody by any chance after me 100 years, 50 years, somebody asks that, because that answer is specifically to that leaf.
Mm. So this physical palm leaf in
Hmm.
its history, because you've also said, there was carbon dating and it came to like, I don't remember the exact year, but it's in your book, that some particular person. So these palm leaves, have they been, this is question number 6, were they, I mean, copied over from leaf to leaf every few hundred years, or because that particular leaf cannot be 5,200 years old? How are they?
Yes, I see that there are certain things which are quite mysterious as far as this Nadi is concerned. And answer to that is also mysteriously not known. Many times, person like me, whom view people, they give me the credit that I have done a lot of good study and all. The answer is not known. This particular, for that matter, when it was written, this is not known. How many Mercies are there? Not known. I mean, the answer to that is this way, at least to me.
But
Regarding what you have said,
in recorded history, like, we know Sarfoji had copied it over maybe 350 years ago. But before that, what was the, in our recorded history, more than 350 years ago, if it is 5,200 years old, and this particular carbon dating of this leaf is, say, 350 years or something like that, then it has to have been copied over before that. So,
correct.
yeah.
So, see, logically, when we apply our mind and science and our own thinking, we still feel that there's something fishy about it. There's something that's not matching to our imagination. What you say is correct. And that very fact that the Sarkozy and his deputy, that prime minister, they were given the credit by the Tamilians, that it is their leaves which are having because of them. Like that, they give a honorary certification, and the statues of these two is also are found in that Vaidishwaran Koil temple also. But from that apart, how many times it was written and rewritten, all, nobody knows. Answer to that, I don't know. Even in
Okay.
that Vaidishwaran Koil temple itself, whenever I have gone on various several occasions, I had tried to meet a Zir. Zir is the boss of that particular temple complex. Means there are about 50, 60 no, temples which are come under that particular person. Um, he is not available. You can't talk to him. Whenever I have gone, I say, I want, no, he was yesterday, he was here, but now he is not there. Where he has gone, that we don't know. So there's some sort of a mystery in that, which is either shrouded by some people or that I don't know. And
So we
the
don't,
number one, number two, these people, they don't want to open their mouth. Why? I don't know.
okay, fine. So we don't know that these leaves were brought to South India by the Marathas. Were they translated from Sanskrit to Tamil because they were now being given to the Tamils? We have no idea what happened past, pre 350 years ago. We don't have any
No,
clue.
hold on. Man, your question has now a twist. Number one, they were not brought by Marathas to the Tamil Nadu. The leaves are in Tamil language only. They were there only. This fellow, he being a very lover of no literature and very other arts and science, this thing. He took some sort of a lead in making that all this is all. Somebody might have gone there, presuming so these are getting now dried and they are broken. This. Please give us some sanction us some funds so that we will employ. Ultimately, the king, they do not do anything other than sanctioning and giving some money and some
Right.
if some places the expertise. So that was done by him. Number two, they were originally written in Sanskrit and then they were translated in Tamil. This is a vague and deliberate sentence. Nothing has happened like that. The Sanskrit language, those who are the lovers and the Sanskrit language, they have got that all the time, that superiority with other languages of the entire world. The very word Sanskrit itself is not a language. Let me tell you this. Sanskrit, krut means kaya, kiya hua. Sans means sanskaran kiya hua. I mean, which has got been given some sort of a standardization to that particular. This Devanagari Lipi is also a recent one. This is not an ancient one. Before that, there may be there whatever there be that particular. See, generally, what I mean, you and me, when we talk something which is not grammatically correct, which is not what to call taken as a standardized language. Where so this Sanskrit means a standardization has been created to that dialect which was there or the script which was in prevalent that time. This is how
Rumi.
I see it. There is nothing called Sanskrit language. This language, what we are talking of, that whatever has been written in that Devanagari, is recent one. That I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert on that, but the word very Sanskrit itself. So leave aside this Sanskrit language, script, or whatever that. Tamil is an independent language.
Yes.
So
So my
whatever was
question.
written and done was only in Tamil to me. I mean, this is my point of view. There is nothing that's it was written in Sanskrit and subsequently. Then who the hell was doing this work? Is to write 4 lines of that. This thing is so it's not possible, and to write them into a poetic language in Tamil, translating it from Sanskrit to Tamil, it's beyond imagination of mine. It
Got
cannot
it.
happen.
Okay, understood. So we have to assume that it was copied over. It was not. So this is not because of some invasions or something that was happening in North India that they were brought to South India. They existed in South India. They were not saved by the Marathas by bringing them from North India to South India. They existed in
Correct.
South India all along. Okay.
Yes.
And were there Nadis in North India also that were destroyed?
Answer to that is, to me, I don't think the word Nadi itself is known to most of the North Indians. This particular Nadi is only the one that pulse checking this and that is the what call and meaning which is known to non-Tamilians. Tamilians themselves also have got this pulse testing is also one meaning is there. But for them, the parallel word is Samhita. Samhita means compilation of information. So
Yes.
that is Nadi.
But in North India, were there any Samhitas, Shastras, or any of these, did they, or Granthas that existed in North India?
Yeah, Bhru Samhita, Surya Samhita, then that Kapali Samhita. There are
Okay, and those were also individual predictions as well as astrology Samhitas.
they are astrological predictions. Number two, written on normal paper. So I have given you one small clip where how they are kept and how the things are there. Uh, a person called Vijay Kumarji, he is in Sultanpur Lodi. He is having Bhrugu Samhita and he keeps it wrapped up by that red color cloth. And then they are all haphazard. It's a heap of no this raddi paper वाला जो रद्दी होता है ना ऐसे रखे
Hmm.
हुए हैं. You just see that if possible
Saw
you
that.
can put it when you do the recording and
Sure.
editing. So they are like that. But the
So,
bottom line is they talk about the prediction of a particular person.
okay, so the Bhrigu Samhitas have both individual predictions as well as, of course, there's a Bhrigu, which is a general astrology. So in North India also, you're saying there's a Surya Samhita, Bhrigu Samhita, and a third one you mentioned is
Kapali Singh. Kapali
Kapali.
means Shiva's name. Huh?
Okay. So these are the three main ones in North India.
Yes.
Okay, so they did exist in North India as well. But have
Yes.
you, were there other nadis in, not nadis, Samhita, Shastras, or Granthas that were destroyed during the invasions? Have you heard of anything like this, or have you
The very
had any?
fact that for almost 800 to 1000 years, the person, those who were all out to destroy anything and everything other than their religion, they must have done it. I mean,
Okay,
there is no evidence to that effect that they have preserved it. Have they preserved anything other than this thing? Raise it, or break it, breaking, making it unserviceable, or making it burning it. These were the methods. So many of these things might have got burned or destroyed, whatever that. So the Nadi prediction leaves also maybe one of the victims.
yes, okay.
They have not
Um,
preserved anything.
hmm. Yes, got it. So, we touched upon this before, like, the rishis will tell us what we are supposed to hear. But what is the purpose of these rishis writing this? Is it a spiritual value, what is the purpose of getting this reading? Is it to guide us, to lead us towards moksha? Is it for some spiritual purpose? What is the purpose as you have experienced it on, through many of the readings that you've
Understood.
done?
Number one, the purpose. Uh, Answer to that is for for the betterment of humanity is the only standardized word I can use. As far as individual is concerned, that particular individual, what is his need of that particular time? A person is not getting married for so many years. For him, the spiritual value and spiritual progress is all nonsense. He said, I am not bothered. I must get married first. So for him, the purpose of this writing leaves are only for a specific purpose and for a specific requirement of that individual. And that is how the confidence is built. I mean, when I see it from here, that yeah, this is your requirement, this is the answer, this is what is saying, this will happen or not happen, because there are many things are of indicative nature. So then that person, after say getting married and having all that pleasures of life, then he comes to at a stage at where he is now saying that what is the purpose of being here on this earth. At that time, that spiritual or that the higher type of understanding or meaning of that life will be told to him at that time.
So whatever is the need of that person,
Exactly.
um, so it's basically the overall thing is whatever is beneficial for us at that time is written
Yes.
in the Nadi.
Absolutely correct.
Okay. And from time to time, we can go from one Rishi's Nadi next year or 2 years or a few years from now, we can go to another Rishi Nadi. I mean, we can have several Rishi Nadi readings in our life, as you have also had.
See, there are two ways of looking at it. It is not that you are going and getting these nadis. Because the nadis are written, they are coming in your lap. You are not doing anything. Not doing in the sense that you are going there, getting appointment, is that everything what you are doing is in other way around. The leave has already come into that particular cubicle of his nadi center. Naturally, therefore you have to go there. But we see it from our side. We always see from a picture from our side. You say, I had an appointment and I have seen this nadi, that nadi, this and that. Because it was written, you have seen it. It is I see it from that end.
Yes, yes, because you're destined, so you take the
Yeah.
action to reach that destiny. Understood. Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to add? Because, I don't want to go into more of the questions. Maybe we'll leave the other questions for another
I think
time.
now we will say for the time being that our discussion, which was almost going on for 55 whatever that minutes, it has fetched very many aspects or the things which are generally not discussed or in the what to call, we are not talked about because nobody is interested in doing what is that, who made, and language and this and that, because nobody is interested in that. This is my thumb impression. Take out my leaf. Okay, well, good, good, good. I am happy that yes, my leaf is found out. What instructions have been given, I'll obey and do it. For them, the chapter of Nadi reading is over. That's it. So
Yeah.
that is what it is. But a person like you with inquisitiveness and the knowledge, fund of knowledge, what you are having, and very many other faculties which you are exploring in your personal life, that made you so curious, and that made me also very happy to explain with my limited knowledge and experience whatever my views are. My views are should not be taken as final one because they are my personal views. Somebody else will have a different view, and I respect that his views also.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a chance, and when possible, we will just keep on talking, and you can increase number of questions subsequently also. And if
Yeah.
other person, those who are listening to this, if they have got any question, they also can add on to your question bank, and I will try to explain it as far as my capacities.
Yes, Shashikanji, thank you so much. But it's also not just for the people who will get their Nadi read, but also so that, we put it in the data banks for Bharat and for the whole world, because
Yes,
otherwise this knowledge will not go. It's like, you pass on to the younger generation. And that is why I wanted to get the maximum out of you so that for the future generations, this knowledge carries
yes,
on and it's put in digital form. Uh,
yes.
so that is one
You
of
are
the reasons,
absolutely right.
and that's one
Correct.
of the main reasons I'm doing this. So thank you so much.
Welcome and bye bye to all.